Well, thank you for staying with us. The Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has been advocating for a minimum wage of 1 million due to the rising cost of living and inflation. However, the organized private sector, as well as states like Ekiti and Sokoto, has criticized this demand, considering it unrealistic. The NLC President Joe Ajero highlighted the impact of inflation and the falling value of the naira on their previous demand for 200,000 naira. He stated that the cost of living index should guide their new proposal. Ajero also expressed dissatisfaction with the federal government's failure to fully implement the 35,000 wage award for federal workers. I have joining me to discuss this in the studio, Rotimi Paul, policy analyst and property investor. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Given the current economic challenge in the country, how realistic is this demand for 1 million minimum wage? And, the private sector as well, the governors have expressed skepticism about the feasibility of this demand, knowing fully well that some of these governors have not even been able to pay the 30,000 naira for minimum wage, and as well, private sector businesses are closing up and all of that. How will you react to this?
Okay, I would like to start by saying the labor union have the right to demand any amount they feel is okay for their member. At the same time, government also have the right to negotiate to any amount also they think is convenient for them to pay. But for whether it is realistic or not, if you, just as you said, if you look at the 30,000 naira we are still even having now, it was implemented in 2019 April, and then many governors or many state governors were unable to pay then. Now, and if you look at the margin between 30,000 naira and 1 million naira, it's not a small margin. Now, if you are to go by statistics, somebody that is unable to pay 30,000 naira, I would definitely say the person who is unable to pay 1 million naira. And for the private sectors, in which I belong, as a real estate person, what is affecting the labor members is also affecting businesses. The construction costs, the running costs, everything has gone up. Now, to now add a minimum, that's what we're talking about minimum wage, just a minimum that anybody can earn. Now, if you look at this, if I look at our staff strength and look at a minimum anybody should earn is 1 million naira, I would definitely say it's unrealistic. And then for the state governors, if you look at the state governors, like we can talk of Lagos then, if you look at like a 2023 IGR that we have, where Lagos is running around the 651 billion, followed by River State that have 172. We have state that generated less than 10 billion naira, which means that the strength of states are not the same. Meaning, some may even be, if some state like Lagos decide that they want to pay 1 million naira, I'm telling you definitely that some other states cannot be able to pay. So that's my take.
All right, let's also talk about the factors like the NLC have posed, like factors like food inflation, the rising cost of living and inflation. How would you say these are causing the demand of these wages or wage?
To be honest with them, because just as I said, the 30,000 naira, we can look at it that it's no longer sustainable. But the crisis we are having now, or the challenges we are having, like you talk about the food. If you go to market today, if you go to market yesterday, and then you have a price, you're given a price. If you go there today, it might be another price you will meet. And then what are the factors responsible for that? If we look at our production, our food production, you look at it that it has dropped down. Why? Because of insecurity. Some farmers are unable to go to their farm. And if farmers are unable to go to their farm, automatically there will be reduction in food production. So to them, I say it's okay. They are right. But other challenges they talk about, it's okay. Now look at we talk of since the fuel subsidy has been removed, everybody is being affected. both the labor union members, business owners, because most of the businesses run on fuel, run on generators like that. So everybody has been affected. Now, for their demand, they are right to say the challenges are the reasons why they are making demand. I won't fault them on that.
You rightly said how some of the states cannot afford this 1 million naira. You talked about Lagos can, but let's talk about the consequences. If this demand for 1 million naira gets to be approved, what are the consequences for the private sector as well, for these other states that can't even afford?
If we are to go by the statistics we have, somebody, just like I said, somebody that is unable to pay 30,000 will also be owing 1 million. But for the private sectors, if it is compulsory today that private sector must pay a minimum of 1 million naira, the best way to do is to reduce the staff strength, which means that one of the consequences is that there will be loss of job. And then for state governors, they will just continue their usual owing status. So they keep owing. So, and if they keep owing, what's the difference between when you're having 30,000 naira, somebody is owing, you are paying 1 million naira, the person is still owing. So I think that will be the result that will come out of it.
So how do you think the federal government can strike a balance between, all the states, between the NLC demand and all of that to accommodate everyone? How do you think the state government can strike a balance?
Okay, what I would like to say here is that if we look at the challenges we are talking about now, what I would like government to do is that, what are those major things that is causing this issue? Like we talk about fuel subsidy the other time. Now, when the fuel subsidy has been removed, if I'm not running on generator, the demand for my fuel would definitely be reduced. And then if demand for fuel is reduced, few people will shout that the cost of fuel is high, because most of the people that are talking, or most of the people that are affected, like when you're having, you have to consume maybe 20 liters, maybe per week, and you don't have any reason to consume more than 5 liters. The challenge has also automatically been reduced. So what I would just have government to do that, they just improve on major basic amenities that affect lives, like let there be stable power supply. And if there is stable power supply, a lot of things, a lot of businesses, the stress on a lot of businesses will just reduce drastically.
Okay, I don't know if you agree with the former Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, who is calling for a constitutional review for minimum wage to allow states to decide or determine their wages. I don't know if you share the same view with him.
Well, for me, I would not say some states should have their own minimum wage. I prefer it to be general, so that the federal government will be the one to agree, and then the state government will follow. Because I'm just looking at some state government can tell you that someone that's owing 30,000 naira may not be able to tell you that they can pay more than 40,000 or 35,000, while some other state can be boasting of 150,000. So the difference will not be fine.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for your contribution so far. But let's take a time out, and Newsweek continues in a moment. Stay with us.